What's going on, everybody? It's your boy back again with another certified hood classic, and for today's video, things might feel or seem a little bit different for you, huh? You're probably wondering, why is he wearing shades indoors? Well, maybe it's because I'm tired and I have bags under my eyes, and y'all don't need to see that, you know? But the other thing you probably realized was, yeah, the Eagles did beat the absolute dog shit out of the Cowboys last Sunday. Now I have another reason to make fun of people from Texas. Oh, you're wondering why I'm not wearing a mask for today's video? Well, maybe it's because you need to mind your fucking business, okay? Thank you. But for today's video, of course, so see, if there's one thing, right, you should probably know about me by now is that I really like music. Of course, I don't really see any other reason why you'd actually follow up in this channel if I wasn't talking about things all music related and the fact that I actually had an interest in music. I mean, I know for these past couple of videos it's just been pure drama, but bro, this isn't TMZ. But when talking about music, one thing I feel like I didn't really elaborate on fully was the kind of music I really like to enjoy. And I know I brought up a few things before here now and then, you know, like I like to talk about how much I love reggaeton or how much I love Afrobeat or how much I love ambient music, but I don't ever really think I gave much any specifics to truly just the kind of genres I really like to jump into. So for today's video, if there is one genre I want to just be able to discuss a little bit, is my enjoyment of electronic music. And it's not just one specific subgenre of electronic music. I think it's kind of just all of it, really. I mean, I think the reason why I like electronic music so much is because there's just so many different lanes to it. I mean, it's hard to really put it in a box because there's so many different little subgenres, so many different little sounds. It's like you're getting a little bit of everything mixed in with these little beeps and boops, or as my brother would like to call it, weird ass alien shit. I mean, you got techno, Detroit house, you got Jersey club, you got jungle, UK garage, industrial, experimental, nature sound, and many other little subgenres that can really just show how expansive the main genre of electronic music can be. It all really just depends on the vibe that you're feeling and of course how much time you actually have on your hands. So of course for this video I want to just be able to give a couple of recommendations here. So some of them might be pretty basic recommendations. I feel like if you was to like browse rate your music for like 5 seconds you'd probably find this album, but for other ones of course you might have to look a little bit deeper, and that's why I'm here. So of course for my first recommendation here, I wanted to be able to talk about a electronic group here called Sweet Trip and one of their more notable projects called Velocity Design Comfort. Now, as stated before, if you do just casually browse rate your music, or if you browse the Fantano subreddit because you have absolutely no social life, you would have already heard this album before. I mean, it's talked about pretty commonly in those sort of online forums and those sort of different communities as well, for understandable reasons. This is a very, very good project with a lot of fun elements to it, a lot of very different experimental elements to it, and it all just gathers around to make this very weird psych rock, shoegaze, electronic mix that I feel like has stood the test of time, and you could even say is a bit ahead of its time even. I mean, if anything, I would say this album goes hard in damn near any setting aside from during sex, but then again though, most of my viewers are virgins, so it's not like you actually have to worry about that part. Just play it anywhere. I mean, the only unfortunate part about this album is the fact that the group did break up because somebody couldn't keep their hands to themselves, but even still, this album is solidified as one of the best indie electronic projects you can really find out there. Another good recommendation I feel like would be Still Slipping Volume 1 from Orbison, who is somebody I used to absolutely despise at one point because he took down my remix because he's a scared ass dickhead who can't accept that somebody was going to topple him with his own song. But then I realized that I am an adult with a full-time job, so I don't exactly have the time to focus on those sort of things, but it is fun to complain regardless. But as for this album, although the artist can lick the sweat straight off of my American balls, Still Slipping Volume 1 is a very good example of how to be more organic with your music. The audio clips of his family talking between tracks, the more spoken word rapping style from James Messiah on Swag with Kev, and the more mellow and dub twist that Joy gives towards his instrumentals on this album makes this project one of the more best ones I've heard in 2021. Especially when you have tracks like Better, Born Slippin', and Layer 6 that managed to take the more outsider house feel and convert it to this more bouncy and ethereal sound that has stuck with me since the album released. But last, but definitely not least, if we're going to talk about electronic music, we have to be able to talk about my main man right behind here, Huerco S. See, this guy right here is the pioneer of the outsider house genre, which is a more lo-fi twist on the traditional house sound, instead incorporating more ambient elements for a more toned down sound, instead of the usual high energy feel that, you know, house music would usually give you. But not only that, he's also responsible for one of the more notable ambient projects of the past decade, for those of you who have never, and also those who have, and he's also the artist of one of the best electronic projects I've heard, and also one of the best albums I've heard in the 2020 so far, called Plonk. I mean, if I had to think of a way to be able to properly describe Huerco S's music, it would be, that's pretty neat. He doesn't exactly take the most high energy approach, instead going for the complete opposite take for this more minimalist and experimental sound that would at first make you question what the hell is going on, but after listening to it a few times, it kind of clicks, you know, it kind of makes sense. And it's not even just Huerco S, but the entire West Mineral label is like this as well, relying on a more abstract approach towards ambient music and just the electronic sound in general, you know, incorporating warped synths and the beautiful vocals of Ben Bondi to be able to make some of the most unique tracks in the underground scene. I mean, if I had to really just be able to say anything about Huerco S, of course, one, he is one of my more favorite electronic artists of all time. I hold a lot of respect towards his music. I think Plonk, more specifically, was one of those albums that kind of changed my perspective on how I approach different styles of music. I mean, it's just such a different take. It's as if he knows how to hit the right notes at the right time with his music, which allows it to be able to stick with you a little bit longer, you know? Especially when you're listening to songs such as Plonk 9, 10, 1, 4, or 5. They all feel very out of body. Imagine just sitting in your room, right? You're sitting in your room alone, and then just one of these songs just happens to play, and it kind of just allows you to zone out. Or at least it allowed me to be able to zone out and really just be able to just not think about the shit that surrounds me, even if it was only for just 10 minutes of my time, you know? But that's basically all the recommendations that I would really have at this point in time, and that's honestly kind of just a little bit of these thoughts I just have on a genre as well. Electronic music for me has allowed me to be able to explore other genres as well, including genres such as Midwest emo, Brazilian funk, shoegaze, you know, you got Euro dance out there, K-pop, J-pop. I've learned to get more accustomed with a lot of that simply just because hearing it being used in different facets of electronic music allowed me to become more interested in those genres as well. But hopefully you guys like the recommendations as much as I have, because hey, if this video goes as well as I expect it to, hey, my next video, it'll have even better recommendations. But of course, I want to thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next week when I actually try to upload a video on Monday. I do want to give my apologies, of course, just on the quality of content and just how upload schedule has been. Things haven't felt very genuine for me, but I'm asking that you guys just be patient with me. It's been a lot of things happening in my life, you know, but I'm managing that right now. So, of course, just thank you for your support. I'll see you next week. I'm very tired. I need a nap. Peace.